Therwan Sarana Hamdurne, we can start now.
Okay. So last time we discussed about Jara Marana, which is a fundamental feature or a characteristic of this universe. And today and during these past few sessions, we have got an idea about the reality of the world, or anicca dukkha anatta nature of the world. So understanding of the anicca, dukkha and anatta actually reduces the value that you gives towards the world. That means world is actually can be divided into 12 parts in one classification, which is called ayatana classification. So in that you see in 6 internal and 6 external ayatanas, or organs, you can say simply. So you have eyes and images, you have ears and sounds, and you have nose and your smells, tongue and tastes, body or skin and touch, and also mind and the thoughts that you get. So with you can categorize everything that you experience in your life as a human or as any sentient being to these 6 or 12 categories. So when you understand about anicca nature of these 12 ayatana, the value given to the world, to these 12 ayatanas, which actually makes the world, reduces. So when that gets reduced, the attachment is reduced. When the attachment is reduced, the suffering, which is the reason for suffering, is attachment, as stated in dukkha samudaya satya, or as stated in 4 noble truths. So the first noble truth is dukkha satya. It is about the suffering that we encounter because of avidya, because of ignorance. The existence is always suffering in the point of eyes of wisdom, but when we go from a point of feeling, yes, you can experience good blissful feelings as well as bad negative feelings, positive feelings, and and in between, which is a neutral feelings. So when you classify it according to feelings, yes, you can classify it. You can find a category as blissful feelings, where if you are hungry, if you have something to eat, you feel good. That is, it doesn't say that it is not there. It is there, and that is why actually these sentient beings are trapped in the samsara, because they are always thinking about this blissful sensations that they get from outside or external 6 ayatanas. They are looking for it all the time, and they do not see the part that should be seen with wisdom. When you see from the eyes of wisdom, you see that these feelings that you get, which are seem to be blissful, are actually positive feelings, are actually feelings of joy and happiness. When you go deeper and understand how it is being formed, and how much burden or how much suffering we have to go through to get that a little bit of happiness, then you understand that this is a pointless way of achieving joy or happiness. This is not something that is worthwhile. That is what you would understand in the eyes of wisdom. So in that sense, in that aspect, you can say that this world is full of suffering. So it's already full of suffering, and but when you can increase the suffering more with avidya. You even after you becoming enlightened, you have to go through a part of suffering that is pertaining into the body. So you'd still feel hungry, you'd still feel thirsty, and still feel cold and warm, and you'd have to encounter that part until that you attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana and end this sansaric cycle at death. So then the suffering or every part of it, or every part of suffering that was there in your lives would be gone at that point. But before that, you have these bodily sufferings which you have to encounter until you meet until you attain Nibbana. And before that, before even attaining Nibbana, you have an extra set of sufferings which are actually created by avidya. So these are unnecessary, and these are what we create out of avidya. So that is the dukkha satya. So that is what is explained in dukkha satya. So there's the second truth, which is dukkha samudaya satya. In that, it is explained about the reason for this dukkha satya, or reason for the suffering which is created out of avidya. So when you understand about the reason, and when we get rid of the reason, then the result also does not emanate. So result also will be gone. So when the result is gone, when it is fully gone, you say you have attained enlightenment, you have attained full enlightenment. That is arihathood. So before that, you would gradually, this is a pathway, so you have to gradually go there. You have to develop your path, or develop your practice, and you have to master it until to the point that you do not have raga, dvesha, and moha anymore. We would understand. We would try to explain with these terms raga, dvesha, and moha in the future today in this today's session. But for today's being, what you would for at the moment, what you would need, what you need to understand is that you at the arihathood, raga, dvesha, and moha would be gone. So that is when attachment is gone. So that is the reason for suffering, which is created out of avidya. So the reason for suffering, or this dukkha satya, is attachment. What leads the way to attachment is value. So when you give value to an object, when you think that this object or this item, which can be any of the 12 ayatanas, is valuable, then you cannot change. You cannot give value to an object and just not attach to it. That doesn't go like that. If you give value, then attachment is a process. It happens. You automatically attaches to it. When you automatically attaches to it, you are prone to suffering. Still, maybe you are not experiencing the suffering, but you are prone to suffering. That's why you get fear. Now, fear is actually a form of suffering as well. So, for example, let's say you have a box of jewelry at your house, and you go on a trip for a week in a outside city or a place. So you heard that your house is being robbed, and the things you got attached would be the things that you'd remember first. So if there was a jewelry box, that if that is the thing that you are attached to, or maybe if there's a safe full of money, oh, that is the thing that you are attached to, then that is what that is the thing that would give pain and suffering to you. So initially there would be fear. Even without leaving the house, you would always that thing would pop up in your mind that I have to go for several days. I have to go out for several days, so something can happen to these valuable items. So I have to do something. So that is actually a compromisation of your freedom. So that is because of fear. So because of fear, even if the fear is so much, you would just stop the trip and just stay home, because you cannot think of losing your valuable stuff. So if you can manage to reduce your fear by doing anything, by putting a security camera, by putting security cameras, by having a big wall around your house, or whatever it is, if you are able to do that, then you would be comfortable to an extent to go out. But if that's not the case, then you would be not going out, or that fear would not be that fear would not let you go out of the house. So that's what happens when you get attached. So when you get attached, then only the fear and suffering starts to crawl into your life. So let's say you have your bin full of garbage in your house as well. So you do not make plans for that when you leave out. Maybe you would put it out because it would start stinking inside your house. So other than that, you would not think about your garbage bin being stolen. That would not be a priority. That would not be even a concern. That you would not even think about it. Even even if you hear that your house is being robbed, it would not be the first or the last thing that you would remember, that maybe that thief or robber might have taken the garbage bin out, or stolen the garbage. So that would not be a concern of yours. So that is not something that gives pain and suffering to you, because that you have no value to it, and because you don't give because you are not attached to it, since you don't have you didn't give value. So what would happen if your mindset becomes if your mindset changed in a way that you feel that important or valuable thing just like the garbage bin? So what if there's no difference between the two when compared from a point of value? So if there's no change or difference between the two, then you not even remember that there's this thing that could have been stolen. In the point of from the point of the robber or the thief, he would find it valuable and he would just take it away. But for us, in our point of view, we do not care. It was just there in our house, just like an ornament which was hanging at a wall or something. We would just we don't mind it being there or not on the next day. It was there, and we were just okay with it. We weren't happy with it. We weren't sad with it. We were just neutral with it. And now it's gone. Since we were not happy with it, when something is gone, we want not to feel the sadness, because when you part with something, or when you are separated with something which is valuable and which gives joy and happiness to you, then automatically separation would be painful and suffering. So that would be the case. So now you know that attachment is something we create because of avidya, or because of giving value, as Nietzsche, Sukata, Subha. So when you give value like this, when you give importance, value, and when you get attached to it, all the trouble starts to come. So that's why it is said dukkha arisatya and dukkha samudaya arisatya. When you get rid of it, so that's third one, dukkha nirodha arisatya. When you get rid of this suffering, when you get rid of this attachment, then suffering would not emanate. Suffering is a result of causes, and we know the cause. Cause is attachment, not for all suffering, but for sufferings that is created out of avidya. So sufferings that are being created out of avidya can be removed or eliminated from our lives if we get rid of the cause, which is only, there are no causes. It's not plural, it's just one. It's just attachment. So when you get that one cause which leads to this suffering, then that suffering would not emanate again. So the last time suffering was there would be the last of it. And so that's dukkha nirodha arisatya. And the final one is dukkha nirodha gamini patipada arisatya. Oh, that is the pathway to achieving that. So that's the thing that we are going to discuss today. The pathway to Nibbana. So pathway to Nibbana actually achieves the third Arya Satya, which is dukkha nirodha Arya Satya. So dukkha nirodha Arya Satya is the elimination of suffering by getting rid of the cause, which is attachment. So to do that, you need to follow a path. And this path consists of 8 components. So we call it the Noble Eightfold Pathway, or Ariya Attangika Magga. So Ariya Attangika Magga has 8 parts. Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Jiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. So there are 8 parts. So when you have the when you practice these 8 components, what you would achieve is marga phala, or the milestones in the Arya hierarchy. In the Arya hierarchy, the lowest is Sotapanna, path follower, and you would become a Sotapanna or Sotapanna stream enterer, and stream enterer becomes a Sotapanna. And automatically, after becoming Sotapanna, that person would fall into a Sakadagami stream enterer, and he would develop in that stream or in that pathway until he reached Sakadagami state. And after Sakadagami state, there would be Anagami stream enterer. As soon as he reached Sakadagami state, then he would fall into that Anagami stream enterer. So after practicing and mastering the pathway more and more, that person would attain Anagami state, and then he would automatically fall into Arihat stream enterer and Arihat path follower, and finally at full enlightenment, he would reach Arihathood, and that would be the end of this journey. So from the beginning to the end, what you follow is the Ariya Magga, or the Noble Eightfold pathway. So what happens is, initially, when you become a Sotapanna stream enterer, what you would understand is anicca, dukkha, anatta nature of this world. You would see this world as that you cannot control this world according to your will. Your expectation and your hope and your will is something different, and what actually happens is a cause and effect balance, or a mechanism of causes and effects, and your will does not play a part in that's what you understand as anicca. So that's why it is said, every action you perform is because of causes and effects. Because when the causes got synchronized and aligned precisely, the effect is seen, effect is emanated. But there's no component called will or expectation that plays a vital role or any role in this process. So your expectation is regardless when it comes to the actual thing. But the thing is, you always get tricked, because most of the time your expectation and the mechanism which gives the causes, which gives the effect, or the causes, all the causes align to give the same effect as you thought. So you think you get tricked, or you get the idea that my expectation got it was successful. I could do this and I could do that. That would be your idea, and that would be your avidya, ignorance. Then you would think that this world is so beautiful, and this world is so good, and this world is so meaningful, that I can do anything I want. I can use my body as I want. I can use my mind as I want. I can use my surrounding as I want. That would be your initial understanding, and that would be your try as well. That would be your goal, and you would put all your strength in achieving that. But most of the time you would fail. You would not be able to control your body at all times. The times that you are able to are not because of your expectation, but your expectation and the mechanism which gives out the effects through causes were same. You got tricked that it was because of your expectation. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it is always like that, not because of your expectation. But when the things go wrong, that means when causes do not align to give out the effect. Say you want to lift your hand, you want to walk to somewhere, you want to walk somewhere, or you want to talk to somebody, but sometimes you are not able to do that. Maybe you got a stroke. Half of your body is now not working, so you cannot walk. But your expectation is to go. But your expectation doesn't play a role in your walking or process of walking. So it has a different set of causes that needs to get synchronized or aligned, perfectly aligned, for you to walk. So all this time, since all your body worked perfectly up until to the point when you had a stroke, you thought that you are able to control this body, that you are able to control this mind. that you think whatever you want, but when you try to meditate only, you would understand that it's not the case. You cannot, you have zero control over this mind, over your mind. That would be your experience at that point. Then suffering would start to occur. Suffering would be the result. So however much you try to control your mind during your meditation, and you try in meditation, what you try to do is you try to calm your mind and you try to get rid of all the sufferings and negative emotions. But what happens when you get attached to something that you cannot control, which is meditation? You are attached to doing meditation, and meditation is trying to control your mind. In normal, I'm talking about actually not the Arya meditation, but the day-to-day meditation that everybody practices. So in day-to-day meditation that everybody tries to practice, their goal is to control their mind, and that is their aim. So that's their hope and expectation. So since you cannot have something according to expectation, since that when that goes wrong, when that goes out of your expectation or sideways, what you would feel is suffering. So you are suffering because of meditation, but you started meditation to get rid of suffering in the first place. So you are not achieving what you wanted. So that's about the mind. And we talked about the body, and you know about the rest. You know about the external world. You cannot control it. You cannot control your husbands and wives, children, and other people, maybe workers or colleagues, or your workplace, or anywhere you name it. You cannot control anything. You try to do it. Sometimes you get tricked that you can do it. You are able to control this and manage this and that. But since all the causes get aligned, you are fooled. You're tricked. So that's how it works. So when you understand this concept, anicca, you understand that if you cannot achieve anything because of your expectation, then that is not something to attach onto, latch onto, or something to be happy about. So that in that sense, you see the world as suffering, not that it is suffering and distressing and you should die or something like that. It is not something like that. It is about the aspect of anicca, giving this idea of wisdom that association with these kind of things is a reason for suffering. So you see that these objects, these 12 ayatana, it's like a trap actually. It's like a mouse trap. If you go and you see, if you see it from a point of a mouse, you see that this mouse trap is suffering, but you are not experiencing the suffering yet. You are seeing it through your eyes of wisdom, that if you go there and if that mouse trap activates and your neck is on that, then you would know, when you think about it beforehand, you know that it would be so much suffering and you would end up dying as a mouse. So as a mouse with good wisdom would have thought that this mousetrap is suffering. Likewise, that this person, Arya person, before we are talking about the Sotapanna stream enterer, would see this word as suffering because it has this trap-like nature in it. Wherever you give value and wherever you attach because of this value, you get trapped. You get trapped, and the result of the trap is suffering. So that means pain and suffering is the result. So that's what you understand as dukkha. And then there's anatta. So anatta means the pointless nature, essenceless nature. You do not see this world as worthwhile. So that's the third one. So when you are, because however much you try to gather and however much you try to latch on to these 12 items, they would eventually decay and they would eventually get eliminated or end up dying. Jara marana. That would be the result. So let's say whatever you try to do, you try to actually, let's start from inhaling and exhaling. So respiration, you what do you call, inhaled. So because you felt discomfort of not doing it. If you do not inhale, you start developing this discomfort. As soon as you inhale, that discomfort is gone, but from the very point that it was zero, it started going back to discomfort. So that's why you need to exhale again. And this goes on. So you exhale and now you feel okay, but as soon as it's okay, from the moment it got okay, it is all the causes for it to get the opposite of okay starts to pile up. That means from millisecond by millisecond, your discomfort starts to pile up, and you would want to inhale, and you would not be able to stop this until you die. So that's a serious problem. So whatever you try, you inhale, you exhale, you inhale and exhale, and what you do is actually nothing has happened when you isolate the inhaling and exhaling actually. So if you think about whole life, yes, we have done, you say that we have done a lot of things because we inhale and exhale. But if we isolate the action, and if we think about it specifically, so inhaling and exhaling has led to nothing in the when we are thinking from a perspective of getting rid of discomfort that is associated with respiration. We are nowhere. We could not get rid of it. So let's think about blinking. Still the same. You blink because your eyes starts to get you feel discomfort. So you feel this burning sensation if you do not blink. So you get to a specific rate of blinking where the burden of blinking or the what do you call it, the force, you have to put a force, you have to put some power to blink. You have to use your muscles. If you start in a rate where that is not necessary, you would feel that fatigueness in your eyes. You're not able to blink in a rate that is not comfortable. So if you increase the rate, you would feel the burden of the work, and if you reduce it from a certain point, you would start to feel the burning sensation. So what your body would do is you would find the optimum level which it can, the optimum rate which it can blink, and you would think that it is blissful, or you would just be neutral about it. If you increase the blinking rate, you would start to feel discomfort. If you reduce it, still you would feel discomfort. So we are just adjusting it without knowing, of course, unconsciously. We are just like we are sitting on a pin. See, so we cannot change our position. We are sitting on a sharp pin. We are sitting on a very maybe a few inches long sharp pin, and if we try to move that way, then it would start to give out us excruciating pain. If you start moving the other way, still it would give an excruciating pain. Whichever way you move, it would start, the pain would aggravate. So what you would do is you would just stay still without moving, because you would not want to increase the damage, increase the suffering. So likewise, it is not, now you see that when you get these two examples, it is not something blissful that what you are doing. You are happy about it, you are neutral about it, but even with your body inhaling and exhaling, even you're blinking, when you think about it, you're just trying to adjust it to a optimum level and be neutral about it. But if something goes wrong, if you were not able to blink for maybe few minutes because of a problem in your eye, maybe you'd start to feel the discomfort. If you are not able to breathe for few seconds, maybe few couple of minutes, you would start to feel the discomfort and you would not like it. So what you are trying is, you are trying to adjust it. And what the problem is, the discomfort you always try to adjust starts to form from the very moment you got rid of it. So from the second you neutral or you balanced it, it starts to deviate or other way, and it would be imbalanced in few moments. Even when you are hungry, when you eat something, so at the moment you finished eating, you feel neutral, you feel good, normal. But seconds, time adds up until you feel hungry again. So this did not happen in over a second. It just happened through a period of time. So just after eating, just after having food, the next second is towards hunger. The next one after the first one is also towards hunger. And the third one also adds up. Fourth one also adds up. Likewise, a minute is formed. And this minute it moves towards hunger. Or it is when these minutes form accumulate to form an hour, and when a few hours is passed, a few hours are passed, then you would start to feel that hunger, but it was forming from the beginning of the last, at the end of the last meal, from the beginning of the end of the last meal. So that's the problem. So that's jara marana. However much you try to get rid of pain and suffering, and however much you try to latch on to hang on to valuable things, they would end up giving the same result, or end up decay and destruction. So that's what we refer to as decay here, or jara. The simple meaning, the English term is decay, but you would start to understand that it is not quite the English meaning that we are referring to. It is different in its own way. So it's better to stick on to the Pali word, because it gives a deeper meaning about jara. So jara is something that changes over time towards bad, towards a negative side. So and it would eventually the story would end, and that is marana. So this jara marana nature, because of the jara marana nature, whichever you attach onto would be just temporary and just be for few seconds, or maybe for a moment. So that's why it is called a senseless. No point in achieving such things, and giving value to such things and thinking that they are very, very important achievements in your life, because they are not. They are just gone in a moment, and it starts deviating towards suffering from the moment you achieve it. So that's anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So there's anatta nature in anicca as well. So this is, you have to understand that anicca, dukkha, and anatta are all connected together. They are actually, it's like you are seeing from different angles. You are seeing at an apple from different angles. Even you see different sides, or if you see different 3 photos of it from 3 different angles, you would not be able to understand that it's the same apple, but as you are seeing different shapes of it from different angles, but it's the same apple. So likewise, anicca, dukkha, anatta also has this kind of a pattern. So you are seeing the 3 characteristics of the same word. So because of that, you can see an anicca or dukkha in anicca as well. So because you cannot keep it according to expectation, you can say that it is suffering. And if something if you cannot keep something according to your control, and if it is suffering, then the final outcome or conclusion of your wisdom would be, so this is not something worthwhile. This is pointless, senseless. So that's how the 3 gets connected again. So you can see different, see it as individual characteristics, as well as you can connect it and see the whole picture as well. So when you understand this much, you have entered this stream. So after entering the stream, when you attain the Sotapanna Phala, you would understand a different aspect as well. So you saw that this world is suffering. When you see it, you even a normal person might think, after listening up to now, this person always tells that this world is not worthwhile and this world is senseless and pointless, but we have to live. That is the world we have. We have no any other option. That's the only choice we have. What should we do? Now we are in more burden than before. Now, before we didn't know about this and we were okay about it. Now we know that this is suffering and this is anicca, dukkha, anatta. And now what are we going to do about it? We are suffering, mentally suffering because of knowing. So thinking about actually a solution for it. So we are not getting attached, but we do not know what to do as well. So at that point, you would understand as Nibbana as Nicca Sukha, which is Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta is what we discussed, and the opposite of it is Nicca Sukha. That means you see Nibbana as valuable. So you get a new goal in your life. You get a new purpose in your life. So that's how everybody, as humans, even as lay people or as normal people as individuals who lead a normal life, would start to build up their lives. So they would get a new idea or a new way of seeing about the word or about the person's individual's life, and that he would get goals in his life, that I would become this kind of a person. I would at this age I would become this entrepreneur, or this kind of a philosopher, or whatever it is. You would have those kind of idea or a goal in your mind, and you would start to work and build towards that. That would be your idea. That would give purpose to your life, and you would, since you do not know about anicca dukkha anatta, you would be happy about it as well, without knowing, still feeling, still be experiencing a lot of pain and suffering in the way, but you would not recognize, but because of avidya. So likewise, when you become an Arya, you get the purpose, you get the ultimate goal. So this is what I'm going to achieve. So that is Nibbana. So you see, when you get attached, suffering starts. Suffering is suffering starts to crawl in. So what you would do is, you would get rid of the attachment. You would get rid of the value that you are giving towards life. That is letting go. That is non-attachment. That is separation from the world, or separation in the sense you are not giving value. So you do not care which is there and which is not there. Both. You're not thinking about getting rid of it or achieving it. Just like the way it is. You are okay with it. Since you are not attached, you don't have a problem. See, if you are attached to what do you call cleaning too much, that would be a problem. If you are not attached to cleaning, or if you are do not care whether it's cleaned or not, that would also be a problem. So you see the middle. There's a, so you do not do it, overdo it, or you do not underdo it, and you have the perfect position where you do not feel suffering, because it is over what your over your expectation, or you do not feel suffering when it is under your expectation, because you do not have expectation. So that's the idea. So when you let go, when you get rid of the suffering, or when you get rid of the attachments you have, this would be the amount of suffering that you have originally faced before would start to decrease, and this decreasing, the amount of decrease would be seen as blissful, because when you might have experienced that you have had a lot of work and a lot of mental and physical exhaustion. So maybe you might have had different things, or classes, or lectures, or whatever it is to do in your life. So very important points and very important deadlines that you had to pass, and after submitting whatever that is necessary before the deadline, you would feel a very comforting you would feel very comfortable, or very free. You would feel uh, you would feel very blissful. So that bliss did not come from from something you experienced at that moment. It did not come from an image, sound, smell, taste, touch, or a thought. It is because all the burden is gone, you see the difference of it. So likewise, what you see blissful in Arya pathway is getting rid of suffering. When you get rid of suffering, you would start to feel the freedom. You'd start to feel free and what you call calm and neutral, and that would be seen as blissful, because the burden is already gone. So that when that is gone fully, you would say that is the enlightenment, full enlightenment. But when you know how to, when you know that this is what the end result that you're going to achieve, then you have found a purpose. what to do and where to go, and you fully understand what is needed to be done in simple terms. So you have to, you know what is ignorance, you have to get rid of ignorance or avidya, and that would do its thing. So that's Sotapanna. So from after being Sotapanna until Anagami, at Sakadagami, what happens is it's an intermediate step. What you would reach at Anagami is you would get rid of all the what do you call it? The priority that you give to the sensual pleasures, or the you prioritize your sensual pleasures over anything as normal people. You go for images, sounds, tastes, smells and touches, and you put everything else in the second place. But what happens when you become anagami is your priorities change. Ariya Dhamma becomes your first priority, and this sensual pleasures just goes away. You do not feel that attached, or you never prioritize it over Ariya Dhamma. So Ariya Dhamma is about anicca, dukkha and anatta. So you see the anicca, dukkha, anatta nature before getting attached to those sensual pleasures. That's what would happen when you practice it, when you always use it in your mind and practice the Dhamma. So the conflicting mind or malicious nature in your mind, anger and all the negative parts that come because things did not go in as you expected when you think from a point of sensual pleasure. So you are going pursue after sensual pleasures, and when things did not go well, things did not go as you expected, what happens is you just go and create a second mind or different kind of a mind where you become angry, furious and malicious, and these kinds of negative thoughts comes to your mind. So that is called patiga. So first one is called kama raga, which is about sensual pleasures, and the second one is called the conflicted mind. So this is called patiga, and both would be gone at this state of anagami, and at sakadagami these would get diluted, and the strength of them would get diluted to the point at anagami pala they would be eliminated fully. And at Arihat state, all the other defilements regarding your the expectation to live and expectation to expectation to see, hear and smell, taste and identify the sense of touch, that would also be gone, and you do not have the will or a special expectation to live, because and you do not have special expectation to get rid of your lose your life either. You just okay with what you have. So if someone says I am going to take your life, he's okay with it. If that does not happen and he has to live 100 or 120 years, that is also okay with him. So there's no attachment to either side. It's not attached to living or not living. So that's the ultimate result of it. So to go there, so you have to know about the Eightfold pathway. So in the Eightfold pathway, what you would eliminate or what you get rid of is this raga, dvesha and moha. What is raga? Raga is actually wondering, using your mind or words, or that means thoughts, words or actions. Where are you going to wander? That there are three parts. Either you wander in sensual pleasures, or either you wander in rupa raga, or things that are not sensual, but images and sounds that are not sensual. We'll try to explain it or understand it in more detail. So the third one is arupa raga. Arupa raga is there's no imagery form in that. So kama raga, first one. Oh, in that you see there are 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. So there are 3 senses, which are the last 3: nose, tongue, and body. So everything regarding nose, tongue, and body, and the images and sounds that are also contributing to nose, tongue, and body. Say that cluster is called kama raga. So we called about raga. Now we are going to understand raga, and raga has 3 parts: kama raga, rupa raga, and arupa raga. Now we are discussing about kama raga. So kama raga, there's this cluster where there's smell, taste, and touch, and also images regarding smell, taste, and touch, and sounds regarding smell, taste, and touch. Say you have a plate of food, and you hear somebody praising or saying that these food are delicious, and you see the sight of that food, and this sight of food and this talking of praising of food also falls into the category of kama raga, because they ultimately supports the last 3: smell, taste, and touch. So there are things that do not do that. Let's say a picture of Supreme Buddha that does not support smell, taste, or touch. That is just image, pure image. So there are portraits, maybe a painting, maybe a scenery of a waterfall, maybe flowers, maybe there's a sound, that is this sermon, the sound of this voice sermon. So it can be sensual, it can be falling under kama raga if you develop sexual feelings towards the sound. So then that becomes kama raga, that sound. So if it is not that, if it's just sound and it's just maybe the sound of birds in the morning, that is not kama raga, that's rupa raga. So the rest of images and rest of sounds that does not falls onto kama raga are rupa raga, and arupa raga are actually thoughts. That means you do not have images, sounds, smells, tastes, touches in arupa raga. They are always purely based on mind and mental faculty. So that's how these 3 areas are separated. So you prioritize on that, on each area. If you prioritize on karma, we say you have kama raga, and you wander around. Say you see a plate of food and you think about it, and you wander around in your mind about this plate of food. I should have eaten this, I should buy this, it should feel tasty and delicious and everything. Now you're wondering, and you would use your words to wonder. With your friend, with your colleague, you would start to say that I went there and I ate this and that, and it felt good, and we should go there sometime. Now you're wondering. and you would use your body and you'd actually start walking towards that place, and that's just wandering in the field that you prioritized. So you prioritized something and you are wandering using your mind, using your thoughts, using your words, and using your bodily actions. So that's Kama Raga, Rupa Raga, and Arupa Raga. If that happens in that specific area, you change the name as Rupa Raga and Arupa Raga as well. So when you are having a priority, and but what you are giving priority is actually anicca, dukkha, and anatta, because everything is in this world is anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So things can go wrong in a second, in a moment. So when things go wrong, but you prioritized it, you wander towards it, your aim was to achieve it and hang on to it and obtain it and make it yours. But the problem is, the word is anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and everything can go wrong in a second. So when that happens, you get raga, dvesha, the second version of your mind. The first version is raga, where you thought that this is very valuable and important and I should wander around achieving it. And the things go wrong and things go out of the way, you start to develop feelings of disappointment, anger, and sadness, and all the negative feelings would start to occur, and that is called dvesha. So all the reasons, or the reason for this raga and dvesha are because of moha. Actually, moha is about the ignorance or delusional nature, delusion. So since we see this delusion only, we prioritize things and go after these useless and meaningless things. And that is because we do not the anicca, dukkha, anatta nature, is why we develop a second version of our mind where we become angry and sad and disappointed. And since we do not know that this world is, we cannot control it, and we would get disappointed because of it, and being disappointed also would not change it. And since we know this, we do not, our amount of delusion, our amount of, we could say, moha would reduce, and it would start reducing up until arihathood. So it's something that gradually reduces for all the three, raga, dvesha, and moha. Everything reduces gradually up until the arihathood. So raga kaya, dvesha kaya, and moha kaya. That means you are devoid of raga, devoid of dvesha, and devoid of moha at the end when you reach arihathood. So that's our goal. So that's what you would achieve when you practice the Eightfold pathway. So now we know what raga is, what dvesha is, what moha is. So let's take a example and try to understand actually what raga, dvesha, moha is. So let's say you want to go somewhere. Let's say you are, there's a point. You mark a point, or you put a cross on the floor in a place 10 meters away from where you are, and you get the idea, or you get the expectation that I am going to that point, which you marked on the floor, and you are attached to it. That's why you want to go there. Now we say that there's a very there's $1 million dollars or rupees on the floor. So someone says that if you go to that point, you can achieve it. So we are attached now to that because we see something valuable there. So raga starts. So in our mind, we are attached to that point with a invisible line or invisible rope. We are attached to that bundle of money. So so because of that, we start wondering, and our priorities would be to achieve that, and we would start wondering using our mind, and then we would either talk or use our body to wander to that place. So that's raga. But thing is, it's not easy. Say the person says that you can, it's just 10 meters you have to go, but there would be problems. People would try to stop you, and there would be various kinds of obstacles and stuff you have to pass in order to go there, just 10 meters. So when that obstacles comes, then when people come and try to stop you, you develop the second mind, or dvesha. You would feel disappointed, you would feel angry, or you would feel sad, or those kinds of negative thoughts would start to come. But this is actually your life story we are trying to see through this example, right? So when the attachment is increased, when you are attached too much, when the attachment is so much, you are the amount of dvesha you would develop would also become increased. When the amount of dvesha is increased, the reaction you would have would be enhanced, would be increased. So let's say someone tries to stop you, you'd start agitating. If it is something you did not like very much, you do not care whether you have it or not, you would just feel disappointed and you would just walk away. But if you are so much attached, you would start arguing with the person. But still, if you are so much attached, more than that, then you'd start hitting or maybe killing the person in order to get rid of the obstacle or to achieve the target. If it was a dog, you just harm the dog, or hit the dog with a stone or something, and or try to kill it or do something to achieve it. So that's what happens when you become what do you call attached. So the first you attach, that because of that you had to do bad and immoral actions in order to achieve what you wanted. So that's our life story. So we start killing or hurting sentient beings. We start stealing. If money is the problem to go to that goal, if you see a nice piece of cloth, a nice car or something, or a bag full of money at some place, and if you are poor, then that would be your obstacle. Uh, but you need to achieve it because you are so much attached to that vehicle or that jewelry or whatever it is. So since you are so much attached, you would not mind doing the immoral thing, which is stealing. Now, if the attachment is so much, you would not even mind killing the person and robbing the place. So likewise, when the attachment is more, the immoral, the extent of immorality that you would perform would be higher. So it would be the same for unethical relationships. It would be same for lying. What you would originally, what would originally come from our mind or our mouth is the truth. If we are altering the truth, it's because to achieve something that we want. So, or whatever the achievement or whatever that is that you thought valuable. To achieve that only, you would go for lying, and you would slander. You would use harsh words on people. You would use meaningless words, and you would gossip and do everything that is not acceptable, and you would have greedy feelings that would come in your mind. Greedy means the feeling that this should be mine and mine only, others should not have it, and my people and me should be the owners of these kinds of properties. So would be the mindset of that kind of a person. That is a very vicious and very dark kind of a mindset. It is attaching mindset, not a conflict, mindful of conflict, but it's a very negative kind of attachment. So that would be that could be seen in such a person. And then there's abhija, and then there's domanas. Is again the conflict. You would develop the mind, or a malicious mindset, where you feel angry and agitated, and try to work, or use your mind to generate thoughts of anger. Now if you go for using words, then that is using harsh words, but this is about thinking. The maliciousness and greediness also about thinking. If you go for stealing, then that is something else. It becomes the amount or the potency becomes increased. If it is only about thinking, the potency is lesser. But if you use words, then it increases. If you use your actions to perform a killing, maybe you can think about killing a person because you are so angry, I would kill this person, but you do not do it. So thinking also has an impact, but when you do it in actual world, then that is a big problem. Even in the aspect of law as well, even thinking is not a crime, but if you perform it, it is a big crime. So likewise, in this world, the law of world also, thinking has less potency, but performing has more potency. So the last one is wrong and distorted views. Since you have these attachments to these things, you get distorted views, and you tell people your distorted views, so that you and everyone else could enjoy what you want and what you like without having any repercussions, without having any consequences. So that's actually a very bad practice, where you blind yourself and others as well to think that there's nothing wrong in you killing, nothing wrong in using harsh words, and having it in your way. It doesn't mind. You just have one life to live. You just do whatever you want to achieve whatever you want. So that kind of a mindset would be there, and that is immoral. So these are the 10 immoral actions. There are 3 that are performed by using your body, which is stealing, and first one is killing and hurting in any way, and the second one is taking something belong to another person without letting them know, that means stealing or robbing, and third one is having unethical and wrong relationships, and fourth one, those are the 3 that are related to this what do you call bodily actions. And there are 4 immoral actions that happens through your mouth. Those are lying, slandering, using harsh words, and using meaningless, pointless words. So those are the 4 immoral actions that are being performed by using your words. And there are 3 regarding your mind: greediness, as we spoke, and then there's maliciousness and having wrong and distorted views. That everything, that 3 from body, 4 from words, and 3 from your mind, everything piles up to create all the 10 immoral actions. So what you need to understand is, because of raga, because of attachment only, you started performing these kinds of wrong and distorted things, wrong and immoral things. So in Ariya or a noble eightfold pathway, what you would do is you would get rid of these 10 immoral actions. So actually, it has a very nice basis behind it. So we'll first go through the 8 components, and then we will try to understand the logic behind it. First one is about samadhi. Samadhi is what you would achieve at Sotapanna state. So you would know the world is anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and you would know that the only goal or the only hope that you can have is Nibbana. So that would be the samadhi. So you have the correct vision. Ditti means vision. Samma means sang means raga, dvesha, and moha, which we talked about. Ma means getting rid of raga, dvesha, and moha. So there's a vision or a view that you can use to get rid of raga, dvesha, and moha, that is called samma ditti. So when you reach samma ditti, you develop samma sati and samma vayam. What is samma sati? So let's say you have you developed you developed a new vision, or you developed a new view about your life, and you think that this is how I should practice. This is how I should get rid of these bad habits of mine, and this is how I would cultivate good new habits in my life, kind of a scenario. So let's say you have a habit of biting nails. So when you have a habit of biting nails, somebody says that this is not something appropriate, you should stop this, and this can lead to problems, even problems in your personality. So you should stop it, and that the person who is doing it also understands the person's concern, and he says that yes, I should stop this, and he get this new view, just like samadhi. So he get this view to get rid of biting of nails. So even though he gets this new view or vision, he would not be able to stop it then and there. He is just biting nails while he is unfocused, while he is on his computer, on his phone, while reading a newspaper. The hand automatically moves to his mouth, and he starts biting without knowing. Then only he would start to develop, what am I doing? I pledged that I would stop doing this. So then only he would be able to stop it. So likewise, when you develop samadhi, you have a lot of bad or unwanted or the habits that are harmful to the noble pathway. So when you, without knowing, when you start doing it, the moment you realize it, that you are doing something wrong, is the point that you can change it. Before that, you cannot change it because you didn't know. So samma sati is the moment you see it, the moment you realize that, oh, this is not what I should do and this is what I should do, is the samma sati. That at that point you can implement samma vayam. Vayam is effort. Samma means, sang means raga, dvesha, moha. Ma means elimination of raga, dvesha, moha. And vayama means effort. So we are putting effort to get rid of raga, dvesha, and moha. So that effort could be put only when you realize that you are doing something wrong. So samma ditti, samma vayama, and samma sati comes together to filter out and get rid of all the immoral actions that are done using your body, using your mind, using your words. So that's what is called as Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, and Samma Kammanta. Sankappa means mind, Vacha means words, and Sankappa means thoughts, actually. Vacha means words, and Kammanta means actions, bodily actions. So we discussed the 10 immoral actions. So those fall into these 3 categories. So now we have discussed 3 and 3, 6. So the other one is Samma Ajiva. Ajiva means lifestyle. So lifestyle is actually a combination of thinking, speaking, and acting. So when you actually straighten your 3 doors, that means when you discipline your 3 doors are speaking or thoughts, words, and your actions. When you discipline these 3 doors, which are always outwards, and which is how we deal with the world, when you discipline the 3 doors, your lifestyle actually get it get polished up. And what you have in your Samma Ajiva, or the lifestyle that is needed to get rid of Raga, Dvesha, and Moha, you had have this priority, first priority in your lifestyle as Nibbana. So you'd work and you'd perform everything and to achieve Nibbana, because with your wisdom you have seen that it is the only thing, it is the only valuable goal that you could and that you should achieve in this or in any lifetime. So that would be your priority, and everything would fall behind it to support that. Your job would fit, your other goals and careers and all the responsibilities and everything would fall behind it, so that they can support the Samma Ajiva. So that would be the thing. So you would not earn more and you would not earn less. You would not earn less, because earning less can compromise your ability to comfortably follow the pathway. You would not earn more because there's no point in earning more, because eventually you would have to part with those or get separated with those earnings and everything. And that force or effort that you put over a huge period of time would be in vain. So you would not overdo or underdo. You would just find the optimum velocity, and you would see that as Samma Ajiva. So Samma Ajiva, that means now we have discussed 7 points. Now these 7 points actually creates a kind of a samadhi state in your mind. That is called Samma Samadhi. Samadhi that is needed to eliminate Raga, Dvesha, and Moha. Samadhi is something like concentration, but it's different. So if a mindset is lasted for a period of time, if the same mindset lasts for a period of time, so for that period of time, we say that person was in that samadhi. So we are talking about Samma Samadhi. So if you practice, if your mindset is fully focused on Arya Ashtanga Marga or the Noble Eightfold pathway, so now your mindset is fixed on Ariya Ashtanga Marga for a certain period of time. For that period of time, you are in Samma Samadhi. So if you can practice it fully, 24/7, 365 days, now your Samma Samadhi would start to develop. Now when you practice this all the 8 components, or all the 7 components form or combine together to give out the final result, which is samadhi. Now, this samadhi is what we need. So this samadhi gives the pathway or the understanding, or it actually increases our wisdom. So actually, samadhi is what develops and increases the wisdom, and wisdom is what eliminates the avidya, ignorance, and that's our goal. That's what we wanted all this time. So that's the noble eightfold pathway. So what is the logic behind noble eightfold pathway, and why it is focused on these 10 immoral actions? So it is very hard to find where we get attached initially during the first stages, but we are very well able to understand when we get a conflicting mind, dvesha, the mind full of dvesha. Say you feel like getting angry, you feel like telling something to this person's face, you feel like punching him in the face. So that kind of feeling you can really detect. It is very easy to detect. These are not fine things that are very hard to pick up. These things can be picked up very easily. So that's why you can focus on that, and you just not try to get rid of the dvesha part. That is impossible, because you cannot control anything. What you can do is you can get rid of the reason, and then the effect would be gone. So you cannot control your anger. What you would do instead is you would find where you are attached. Because of your attachment only, you are now getting a second mind, or a conflicting mind, second version of your first mind. So what you would do is you would understand, you would point out where you have the problem, and you would find out where you are attached, and you know that attachment is a result, and you have to know the reason, which is the giving value, and you would understand where you have given value, and you would see that thing as anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So the value would be gone, the attachment would be gone. So when your attachment is gone, you would not have raga, or you would not prioritize it over other things and wander around in that specific area. So when that changes, or the anicca, dukkha, and anatta nature of the world plays its normal role, you would not be upset, you would not be angry, you would not be furious about it. So that's how you would get rid of dvesha. When you understand that you are getting angry, and you feel like killing or hurting somebody, you feel like stealing or robbing somebody, you feel like having unethical relationships, you feel like having telling lies, you feel like slandering, using harsh words, meaningless words, being greedy, malicious, or having distorted and wrong views, when these 10 things can be detected easily. So when these 10 things are detected, you have to find the underlying cause, and you have to treat the underlying cause, so that these 10 immoral actions are not done. So when that happens, your samadhi would start to develop. Since your initial main root cause is being treated, you would actually find results. Say there's somebody with anger issues. This person's get angry so much, but even with normal normal what you call therapy, or Western medicine and psychology and therapy that they use, CBT and all the stuff, are very, very less effective, because they do not treat the cause. They are just trying to change the subject and try to get their focus onto something else, like just like what do you call counting to 100 or counting from 10 backwards to 1, something like that. Those things are very primitive, and that does not work very well when it comes to anger issues. But if you could practice where you got attached, say you are very tidy person, very clean person. You always try to keep your house clean and tidy, nice. So what you do is you mop your tiled floor, and while you are mopping, what you are doing is you are getting attached to the area that you have already mopped, because it feels nice and good and clean. So what if a person with dirty shoes or dirty feet walks on that wet floor with all the dirt imprinted on the tiles? Then that person would become unhappy, angry, even would scold and shout at that person. I was doing this, I was cleaning this, and now you are making a mess out of it. And that would be the angry part, or that would be the detection of your through your samma sati. You detect that I got angry, I got upset. Why am I getting upset? Then you would see the root cause. I am getting attached to this flow. I am getting I am assuming this is as Nitya Sukha Atta. I am trying to control what cannot be controlled, and the only thing I can do is getting rid of that, and that would get rid of my anger problem. So then the person would start seeing this clean and tidy and nice and clean flow or tiled flow as anicca, dukkha, and anatta, something which cannot be controlled, something that can give suffering, or that has the quality of suffering, and something that is meaningless eventually would start to get dirty from the moment it was cleaned. So he would not mind. That person would just clean it, and he would know the reality of the world. So when someone keeps a foot on on that thing, what the person would remember is Dhamma. He would remember the Ariya Dhamma. This is the reality of the world. Why should I get angry? This is what was meant to happen. So I would again clean that flow. That's another thing. But I should not get angry, because see, this person, the person who is coming, is actually showing the reality of the world. Is helping me to understand, and is helping me to complete my Arya Ashtanga Marga, which is a very big help. Otherwise, I would have not known that I am attached to this kind of thing, and that that I am delaying my pathway, delaying practicing, or delaying the progress in my pathway because of it. So that person actually helped. So you would be thankful in your head towards that person, and that person also eventually see, actually this is extra. This is not regarding the Arya Ashtanga path or Magga, but that person would see the quality inside you, that you are very calm and quiet about his bad behavior, and he would the person would be more what do you call feel guilty about that person's actions, and he would try to be corrected. That's what would happen most of the time, but it is not guaranteed. But even that does not happen, since that person does not become angry or upset. Just like when other person's house is getting dirty, you don't feel angry. Just like that, if you could create that kind of the mindset in your mind about your house as well, then that problem would be gone. So you caught your problem, you could detect your problem well, because 10 immoral actions are things that come out because of conflict. So when you find that, you see, this is just like the 10 immoral actions are just like the user interface. So we work on the user interface. So there's a big technical details and technical stuff below that user interface that we do not understand. There's chittaviti, there's chittakshana, and I don't think we need to understand those kinds of very technical and deep and details which are related to Abhidharma at this moment. But there are a lot of there are pratyas, things called suvisi pratya. There are 24 pratyas that acts accordingly for this world to works in a very synchronized manner. So there are a lot of technical stuff, just like in a mobile phone. We are just pressing OK and back button and home button and apps and everything. But in the inside, there are a lot of actions happening, and we do not even understand what is happening inside. It's a digital platform that works with 1 and 0. We do not understand anything, but we understand something. We understand what is happening in the user interface. So just like that, we would focus on 10 immoral actions, whether we are doing it or whether we are not doing it. So we are doing it, we can detect and we can find the root cause, and we can eliminate the root cause, so that is gone forever. For that person who were obsessed with cleanliness was getting angry, and after the detection and after he treating the cause, that problem is gone forever. Because since he is not attached, does not have a problem whether it getting dirty or not. He would do his duty and job of cleaning the house, but he would not be angry when it gets upset. So that would be the idea. So this is what is called the Noble Eightfold Pathway. So this is what we would practice in order to complete our pathway to Arihathood. So this is actually the only way, and the fourth truth, which is what do you call it? Dukkha Nirodha Gamini Patipada Are Satya. So there are this when we discuss about different components of this eightfold pathway separately. We have the Satara Satipatthana, which is the extended version of Sati, Samma Sati, and that would help a lot in our practicing. And there are things that would come handy when we are practicing and when we are trying to go upwards towards Nibbana. So we would try to discuss those things with actually our practical concerns, practical questions that we get during our practice, during our journey towards Nibbana. So that would be the best way of actually dealing with problems. So you practice, get problems, and you ask and you clarify how to get rid of these problems, and then you would implement that and try to see whether that works. If it works, then your mind would develop and your wisdom would develop. If it does not work, even then, since you are trying, your mind would start to develop gradually. So that's how it is going to be about the Noble Eightfold Pathway, or the path to Nibbana. And if you have any questions regarding today's discussion, you can ask anything. and if there's any area that is not clear, you can state that as well.
Please unmute and forward any questions you have to Thero. Thank you.
Hello, Swami Watsa. I just Swami Watsa. My name is Bihan. I just have one question. So I like to listen to music and watch TV. So how do I feel happy when I do that?
How do you feel?
Happy when I watch TV or music.
Yeah. So it's something like this. So I would give you an example of a person who is alcoholic. So let's say somebody likes to have alcohol, maybe a recreational drug, whatever it is. So for that person, if you ask from that person, and we know that this person finds it very pleasurable, that's why he or she is using that drug. So for us, for a person who is not using that, who's not used to using alcohol and stuff, that person, that individual does not feel that way when he or she sees a bottle of alcohol, when someone talks about it, when you see a pub or a place that is full of alcohol, you do not feel that excited, you do not feel that happy, and you actually feel very neutral. You feel, you do not see a difference between seeing a bottle of water and a bottle of alcohol for a normal person. But for a person who is very addicted and very dependent on alcohol, that person would not be able to stay still if they see a bottle of alcohol after 1 or 2 days of being sober. So that would be the. So now we have to compare the two people. One is suffering, and to get rid of the suffering, this person needs alcohol. So other one is not suffering in regarding alcohol, subject of alcohol. That person is not suffering, so that person does not need alcohol. So actually, you have to see whether that. So if we compare the two people, if the two persons are identical, and the only difference between these two people are one is using alcohol and the other one is not, we can say that the extent of suffering in their lives, if we compare the two, the person who is using alcohol is leading a more suffering life, because he has to use alcohol every day to get rid of this extra suffering he has in his life. But on the other hand, for the other person, he just needs to do the usual stuff, which are also done by the person who is using alcohol, to get rid of the sufferings he has in his day-to-day life. So actually, you have to think whether that the person who is drinking alcohol is enjoying it, or he is just trying to get rid of the suffering, extra suffering he has in his life. So since that extra suffering, extra vexation, it's actually the vexation we are talking about. So since that first person does not have that extra vexation in his life, he doesn't find it blissful, does not find it very happy, very joyful, pleasurable. So now we'll go for the matter that you described. So for someone who does not watch TV, someone or movies, and does not listen to music, has less suffering than a person who listens and watches movies. Because now that the person who is watching and listening to music and watching movies and listening to music has a vexatious mind, he is more vexatious towards these two. Because of that, that person cannot live without associating with the two. So when there's a vexation, when the vexation is being treated, you feel happy. That's true. When you are hungry, when you eat, you feel happy. You feel delightful. You feel marvelous. But when you are not hungry, if you are given food, for instance, if you are full to your neck and someone tries to feed you some more, and you don't feel that happy or joyful, you feel like vomiting. So just like that, when you are overloaded with music, you don't find music happy anymore. You just feel like giving a stop or having a break. After some time, just like hunger, the mind starts to look for music, or the vexation builds up again. From moment to moment, it starts to pile up, and after some time, you feel that I have to listen to some music again. But the person who did not have this kind of a vexatious mindset is not relied or dependent on music. It doesn't mind whether it's there or whether it's not. So actually what you are using and what you are dealing with are very dangerous things, because they are full of anicca, dukkha and anatta. So your music can go wrong, device can die, battery can die, or your device can it can get what do you call it, destroyed or something. Anything can happen. Oh, your ears that you use, you have to have two parts. You have to have your ears and you have to have the other outside sound. So both of them are very vulnerable, and both of them are anicca, dukkha and anatta, things you cannot control, eventually goes to jara marana and full of suffering, and have the capability suffering has the ability of or characteristic of suffering in it. So if the music player of the two persons was stolen, the person who are not attached to it very much would not mind that much. He would be a little bit upset that his belonging was taken away. But for a person who is so much addicted or attached to listening to music, would find it more difficult. So actually he's suffering. The pain is more, suffering is more. So for the person, from the beginning, the suffering was more, or the vexation was more. Vexation is a form of suffering. So since the vexation was more, now he has to find an extra time or have an extra time in his life to get rid of this vexation as well. So the other person was doing other stuff during that time because he does not have this extra vexation in his life. But since this person has extra vexation in his mind, he has to allocate a certain amount of time which is limited in this life to get rid of that vexation as well. For movies, for music, whatever vexations you have to allocate some time for that as well, other than your daily work. So that's the problem with it. So as long as you give images, as long as you give sounds to that kind of a vexatious mindset, that vexation would not go away. It's a positive feedback mechanism. Giving it food would increase the hunger. It's like just drinking salt water, drinking sea water when you are feeling thirsty. It would not do anything. You would not feel okay after drinking. The feeling of the filling of the belly would create a false happiness. But the thirsty would grow more and more until the person dies. His kidneys would shut off and the person would be dying in few days. Even if he did not drink seawater, he would have lived long. But that's the theory behind this. So when you use it more and more, the vexation starts to grow and the vexation develops. The more vexatious it becomes, more happy you would, or joyful you would feel, because elimination of vexation is felt as happiness and joy. So you would feel happy and you would feel okay. But the amount of effort and time period that you have to put to get rid of this extra vexation you have in your mind is not something that is blissful. So you have to see from a point of wisdom, actually. Otherwise, you would not be able to comprehend or understand. If you focus on the feeling of blissfulness, that is there. That it's not that it is a lie. It's there. You can feel it, because if you initially create a sense of vexation, when that is being treated, you feel blissful. So you have already there's a vexation in your mind for music as well as for movies. So since that baseline vexation is already there, you would always find that these things are very blissful and happy. It can generate happiness. But the real thing is, the more you use them, the more you get addicted, or the more the vexation becomes. So it's a actually vicious cycle. It increases your burden. So what you would do is, you would gradually, if you start to reduce it, then you would get rid of that extra burden, just like a person who has stopped drinking alcohol would be sober and would be telling us that if a person is fully rehabilitated, that person would be saying us that how much freedom and happiness he is having now after stopping it. Just like that, Arihat would say, we are drinking using our eyes, we are drinking using our ears and all the five senses. We are having 5 types of alcohol beverages using these 5 senses. So for a person who has stopped it, an Arihat would tell us how much freedom and happiness he is having after stopping it. So that's the story. So if you understand this much, and if you focus on the wisdom, and if you see the full picture of how it is being created, and how pointless activity this would be if they are just pieces of there's a good experiment that you can do. You get the most favorite music piece you can hear at this time of your life. So you would just chunk it into 10-second clips or 10-second music clips, and you just try to hear and find which clip is more happy, which clip gives you more happiness and joy. That is not possible. And if you find a clip that gives more happiness, then you divide it into 1 second chunks and try to listen and see whether that it gives that much happiness. So it's something like that. So it is a happiness that is embedded in false hope, just like going after a mirage. There's no happiness embedded in that music clip. It was just getting rid of the vexatious nature in your mind. That's why when you divide it, you cannot continuously get rid of the vexatious nature in your mind. So you could not enjoy the music. So it's not something in the music. So that's what we need to understand. It's just pieces of drum beats, pieces of strumming of guitars, pieces of violin parts and pieces of voices attached together. If you separate the stuff and just listen to the drum beat only, or just listen to the strumming pattern, or just listen to the violin part, or just listen to the vocals, you would not feel that happy. You would not feel that good. So you cannot see where the happiness went when you divided it into pieces. So happiness is something you see when when there's a fireball, it's just a ball. But if you rotate it in a very high speed, you see a circle of fire. Instead of a ball of fire, you see a circle of fire. Just like that, when everything is moving, when everything is, or when you are listening to a very, very well composed song, you're just seeing a ball, not a ball of fire, not the reality, but a circle of fire, but a mirage. So you go after the mirage. So more you go after a mirage, what happens is you do not get what you want. You do not get the happiness or the salvation you are looking for using your eye or using your ears. You are using your ears to find happiness. But more you use it, the thing is the need for this kind of music becomes increased, and since the need increased, when something bad happens to, or when your planned scenario go out of the place, you feel upset, disappointed, and even you can feel angry and agitated as well. And these are not healthy. So on the other hand, for the other person who did not have this kind of mindset, does not have deal with any of the things that we discussed. Instead, he has his different problems regarding his attachments, but not about music and movies. So that, I think that gives you an idea about how you feel happy when you listen to music. Is there any problem or anything you did not understand about the explanation we had?
It's the way it was from once, so I understood.
Okay.
Any other questions on today or previous Dhamma Deshana or Dhamma Sakacha? Please unmute yourself and forward the question to Thero. Thank you. Well, I guess there are no other questions, and our Swami Nwanze has spent almost 2 hours on this discussion. I think maybe we will meet in 2 weeks next time, and maybe I respects today invite Swami Nwanze to ask the merits. Sure.
So, Theron Saranai. So today we discussed about Ariya Dhamma, mainly about the core concepts and core understanding of this reality of the world. So with that understanding, our aim and our goal would be to attain Nibbana and get rid of all the suffering in this world, and to eliminate or to stop the vicious cycle, which is the dreadful cycle of samsara. So with that aim, for 2 hours, we have discussed the pathway to Nibbana, to how you can achieve and how you can practice, practically how you can continue practicing this this very blissful journey towards Nibbana. So they are always listening to Dhamma and also preaching Dhamma are always meritorious deeds, which develops, which generates immeasurable amounts of merits. So your actions, your thoughts, words, and your bodily actions were all inclined towards listening Dhamma and practicing Dhamma today for 2 hours. So with those sankara or actions, you have generated immeasurable amounts of meritorious deeds, and all the hindrances and difficulties and all the problems that you have in this Arya pathway, or the when in developing the ultimate pathway, all the difficulties may get diminished, all the obstacles and problems may get diminished, creating and clearing up the Eightfold pathway, noble Eightfold pathway towards Nibbana, ultimately accomplishing or understanding the reality of the world, ultimately attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also all the let's remind all the dead and past relatives of us who helped us during this sansaric journey, and also the people who helped us during the sansaric journey, such as teachers and also our parents, past parents, and people who gave us jobs, people who showed us what is right and what is wrong during this life journey, and people who were around us during all the time, such as spouses, children, neighbors, relations, and etc., and people who created or constructed places for us to stay, houses, our workplaces, and etc., and also people who were hurted by us during the sansaric journey, using because of our 10 immoral actions. We must have hurted many people along this sansaric journey. Let us remind those people as well, and let us pass this meritorious power to them as well, getting rid of all the liabilities we have towards them, getting rid of all the attachment towards this or towards sansara, or getting rid of all the sansaric bonds, ultimately being able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Let us transfer all this meritorious power to all of them with metta and kindness, with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And also let us remind all the deities of 6 realms of gods, and also 20 planes of Brahma, and let us remind all the beings, sentient beings who are living in this universe, who are helpless and who are unable to find the light of wisdom, who are like blind creatures who are wandering in a very dangerous place, and let us have feelings of metta and kindness and spread this immeasurable meritorious power to all of them with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Abhivadana Siris Nichang Vadapchayino Chatharo Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukham Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Atho Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samichatu Sopateva.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Silavantan Gunavantan Punyaketang Anuttaran Dullabena Mayalantan Pasito Vadvito Varan Sariputta Diterana Agatan Patipatia Saddha Sirantaya Vasa Buddha Putta Namaha Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.
Attain the supreme.
Saranai Swamin Wahansa.
There was